If you know my story, you know that a big part of my journey to being a successful influencer, creator, actor on Broadway was my decision to get sober. And I talk very openly about that journey of dealing with my addiction, but mostly not because I think that everyone has to get sober, right? It's that I think that success starts with learning how to be our best version of ourselves, striving to meet your potential in as many ways as possible. And that's why I'm super glad that I found Best Self. Best Self is a company that creates journals that help you live your best life. They have a self journal, they have a best self planner, they have a hero's journal, they have a relationship journal, which is actually how Steven and I fell on it because we started using the relationship journals and found it to be such a powerful way to set our family up before we had our son. And I want to make sure you know about Best Self, and I have a discount code for you. If you go to the link in my show notes below, you can check out what they have and see if there's a journal that's right for you. We cannot pull water from an empty well. So if you're a creative and you want to be known, you need to have a really strong sense of who you are, the blocks and the things that are getting in your way, something I love to talk about, and you need to have a system and steps to get out of that. And Best Self makes it super easy for you to do that. So check out the show notes and click the link to go check out Best Self. I hope you love it as much as I do. Welcome back to the Creative Visibility Podcast. I am Bret Shuford. If you're new to this podcast, each week I meet you here on Tuesdays and Thursdays. On Tuesdays, we focus on creativity and how we can unleash your creative side. So many of us who are entrepreneurs, business people, or even performers can oftentimes get stuck on our creativity. And I hope to unlock some of that for you so that then on Thursdays we meet and we talk about how you can take that creativity and become more visible out in the world. Hence the title, Creative Visibility, right? So if you're interested in growing your brand, if you're interested in growing your business, and you want some help on how to become better known online using social media and other marketing tools, I am your guide. And I would love it if you subscribe and leave a review on whatever podcast platform you listen to this on. So today we're going to talk a little bit about strengths, because I recently was asked to be the keynote speaker for a social media event here in Houston, which is where I'm currently located. I was very honored, and my friend Brittany Crossan asked me. She runs a company called the Small Biz Social Society, and she has a great podcast as well. I'll link to that in the show notes here. But what was really cool is I've wanted to be a keynote speaker. I've wanted to do more speaking over the last few years, and to get to actually do it was really quite an honor. But even in doing that, like anything we do in our business, we discover a lot of things, right? Like I learned a lot of what people who are in, marketing and social media and trying to build their businesses, the things they struggle with. And ultimately, I heard a big question that I think was super important to discuss and talk about. And that is, what are my strengths? Because so many of us are trying so hard to look inside for what those strengths are. What are the things I bring to the table, right? What makes me unique? What makes me different? And yet, there's so many other ways we can go about this. I don't think our strengths are something that are just black and white. Like, here's my strengths, and I do these things great. It can be an evolution, and we can discover our strengths as we go. And so this episode, I'm going to give you some tools that I think are really important, and you want to stay to the end because I'm going to give you what I think is probably the most important tool that you can use to help you discover your strengths. Number one, there's a great book called Discover Your Strengths. It has a test attached to it. There's all kinds of online tests you can take to discover your strengths, of course. If that's you, if you're somebody who loves quizzes and you love to do surveys, this is a great tool for anyone who's really just starting out and not really sure what you want to do at all, even as for a living, or how to monetize what it is you do. Check out the book, Discover Your Strengths. Now, if you're somebody like me who's on an evolution of constantly figuring out what people need, what gap I can fill within the market, what things, right? Because that's really what we want to do here, right? We want to discover what problems people have And then we want to be the solution to those problems. And the way we start doing that really is by looking at ourselves. It starts internally. And so there's some things that, like I said, we're always looking inside for this, but there are lots of people in your life, whether you know them or not, whether they just follow you on social media or whether they are your best friends. And those people are wonderful resources for you to begin. There's also people who are searching for things, right? The beauty of these days is the internet. So the next tool I would say that I would recommend is going on some of these keyword research tools. The first one, which is totally free, up to 2 searches a day, that I would recommend is called answerthepublic.com. I want you to think about what niche you want to serve. If you've not discovered what that is, if you don't know what you want to sell or monetize doing, you definitely should check out my course, the Creative Visibility course. That is something I help people discover along their path. But if you're somebody who's already sort of there and you know what you want to do, we need to start to learn how to speak our audience's language. And so Answer the Public is a great place to start. You can go into that website and you can search for any question, right? Let's say your audience is looking for how to grow on social media. It's going to then give you all the top searched answers or questions that people have typed in to Google, to whatever platforms, that you can then take that and create content about it. So endless content that is so specifically targeted to your audience and what it is they're looking for, and it's totally free. There's other websites that people recommend, something called SEMRUSH, which is search engine, I don't know what it is, SEMRUSH. I find that one a little bit less user-friendly. But my favorite tool for searching for questions is YouTube. YouTube is the number 2 search engine in the world. And what's really cool is when you go into YouTube, you've probably discovered this, if you start to type in a search, let's say I type in how to, it's going to then suggest a ton of ideas of what people are searching for. And those are the top searched words. That's what they call keywords. Keywords are words that people are searching for all the time, and those YouTube videos that are at the top of that list, whenever you click on it, they're keyword ranked, like they're top ranked. We want to rank in the top, right? So if you're a social media expert, if you are an actor, even if you're a painter or you teach painting, you want to start to figure out how you can start to use these keywords that people are searching for in your content. That will then train whichever social media platform you're on, their algorithm to then start to push people searching for those things to your content. Now, this is true for pretty much any algorithm, right? Instagram does this. YouTube especially does this, but so does Google, right? If your website has these keywords embedded in its text, you're going to end up getting people searching for, Bret Shuford, social media coach, right? Bret Shuford actor, whatever it is you want people to be looking for. So I highly, highly, highly recommend that you do a little bit of research. It doesn't take much to start to look for the things that people are already looking for. Now, the third thing that I would recommend, and this is to me probably the most important, is to go to your people. Even if you have 10 followers on social media, those 10 people are invested in you. Ask them questions. Go into your stories. Ask them, why do you follow me? What is it you want to learn from me? If you could say 5 things, and this is my favorite thing to do, I would actually recommend you do this. Go to your 3 to 5 best friends, the people who know you inside and out. Okay? And ask them, if you didn't know me, if I was a total stranger and I came up to you and I said, hey, tell me what Bret Shuford's 5 top things are. Like, what are the things he's the most passionate about that he could talk about for days? Your friends will tell you. My friends would tell you right now, Disney. Bret's a total Disney nerd. He loves to inspire people and talk about personal development and motivation. They know that I drink way too much cold brew coffee, right? They also would say that I am a theater nerd, that I've been doing theater on Broadway, that I could talk about that for decades, right? And then also being openly LGBTQ and our content creation and social media and all the stuff I do with Broadway Husbands, which is what I do for a living. So you definitely want to have one of those things be the thing you want to monetize. If you start to ask the people that know you the best, the things that they see in you, you're going to start to see patterns. And I want you just to take that information and garner what you can from it, right? So if you have a list of 3 to 5 things that people know you the best as, then you can go in to answer the public and ask questions, right? Ask the things, gather the questions, come up with endless amounts of content ideas. All right. I hope this helps you. I'm going to put all of these links to these websites in the show notes. And don't forget to stay tuned for Thursday, where we're going to talk a little bit about how you can take these tools and put them out into the world. I'll see you then. I hope you got a lot out of this episode. And if you did, please do me a huge favor to support this podcast by going over and leaving a review, and or both. You can always take a screenshot and share it on your Instagram stories or whatever social media platform is your primary platform. And again, I want you to check out Best Self. It is so important that we have a system for taking care of ourselves, that we're constantly getting in check with our mental state, because being an entrepreneur, being a creative, it can feel very, very lonely, and you're not alone out there. You need to know exactly what things are getting in your way. You need to figure out how to meet your potential, not just in your career, but in your life as well. So Best Self, check the link below. You'll get a discount on any of their journals. I love the relationship journal that Steven and I used, and I can't wait to hear what you think as well. Don't forget to be creatively visible.